Hello and welcome everyone to the ISCA, and we have an exciting race for you here this lovely Saturday night as we tackle the Super Cup Series here with the Sugarlands Distillery 250 at Bristol Motor Speedway. And if this race is anything like Thursday, we are in for a heck of a show, wouldn't you say, Big Al?
Yeah, absolutely, Brian. It's going to be another exciting race here. It looks like this field's going to be just 2 cars short of the field that we had on Thursday, but I don't think it's going to be short of it, the excitement.
Yeah, that's for sure. As qualifying is now going to be starting here. Guys going to have 5 minutes on the clock. Of course, it doesn't take very long to qualify here at Bristol, but one thing that we definitely noticed on Thursday was running that top side really burned those tires up quite a bit. And we saw some guys, like a Clayton Hoffman, for example, consciously saving the tires, running about a 15 flat for the most of the run. And really that led to a big, bit of success when it came to, him catching guys and passing them later. I wonder if anybody maybe looked at that Thursday race and learned from it. I mean, we know Chris Severa always is a threat to win a race. I'm curious if maybe he's figured something out. I know he's been tinkering a lot with the race car as this week has gone, through. So we'll have to see how that works out for him. But man, we got some interesting new faces out there too. Big Al looks like I do believe Gabriel Alejandro Cantu, Stephen Pereiro. I do believe those guys are somehow affiliated with Jose Acosta. Am I wrong?
I don't think Steven Piero is, but yeah, definitely Cantu is definitely associated with Jose Acosta.
And of course, we're looking at Stephen Piero right now. It says he's in the two car, but a little bit of a confusing situation here. He's actually in the 23, so definitely bear with us tonight. We're going to be getting all kinds of tongue tied with the different numbers here. Also, one thing to keep in mind is Frank, I do believe Flores has the 28 machine. Also, Kendall Ron, his car shows the 28, but technically he is in the 5 car.
Yeah, it's the two of Steven Piero just slid across the start finish line there, Brian. Sorry about that.
Now, it looks like he slid across and actually able to get, I do believe, second for right now. But looking at the race facts here coming into tonight's race, this is, of course, the Sugarland Distillery 250. Big shout out to those fine folks there. 250 laps on the docket for tonight. Stages are 50 and 100. And of course, completing the race at 250, going to 251. 6 sets of tires, actually 5 down in the pits. Fuel window, 138 laps. So, definitely going to be really close there in that final stage. And one thing we saw on Thursday that I don't believe we ever suspected that we would see is that it went completely green except for the stages. Could they follow it up on the Saturday series and be the same? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, definitely gonna have to sit back and watch and see how that one plays out here. Track temperature is about the same as it was on Thursday. Ambient air temperature is 81 degrees. Track temp 83 degrees with the winds out of the south at 2 miles an hour. But like we said, same thing on Thursday. Probably not going to feel that wind much with the banking of this track, Brian.
No, definitely not. Especially you even got the stands wrapped around this place, nowhere for air really to sneak its way through. But I'll tell you what, tires are going to mean about everything, I do believe, here tonight.
That was the same thing on Thursday. The big deal was drivers had to conserve. We saw a couple drivers get out to lengthy leads, but the thing everybody else was doing, they were just kind of holding back. This concrete track, something that we had not yet ran with these cars, is definitely going to give these drivers a handful this evening.
100%. We got another new face out there. I think this is actually, if I'm not mistaken, Jose Acosta's brother, isn't it? Abner Acosta here, actually making it last
Abner,
minute.
Abner Acosta is going to be a member of the Pandoretta racing team. So 3 guys on that team is going to be Jose Acosta, Abner, and then also Mr. Cantu. So welcome aboard there with the Pandoretta racing team as well.
Yeah, definitely love to see some new faces out here to add to the competition level here in this Saturday series. Looking forward to seeing what these guys can do. And no one, if we know any, if they're anything like Jose, they're going to be fast. But it just depends on the aggression level. I know we've seen, Jose make some moves that maybe aren't the best, but I mean he has definitely shown a tremendous amount of pace. And I have no doubts that Jose, going to be a threat once he kind of gets, worked out. Bristol, a track that where it does not necessarily reward aggression. I mean, would you think that's probably going to be something we're going to see tonight from any number of the drivers? I don't think it's just going to be not to pick on that 42, but I think a lot of guys out here are going to be quite aggressive.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is you're gonna have to be cautious. You can be aggressive, that's just fine, but you gotta be smart. It's gonna be a long race, Brian. We're gonna be out here for 250 laps, so there's no need to be in a rush. And speaking of rushing, I think we might as well go ahead and step away and let's hear that national anthem one more time.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The nighttime is the right time. Remember what I told you? Yes!
At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, like how nice it is to switch and save on your auto policy. But it's even nicer knowing that if this happens, or this happens, or this, or even this, we've seen and covered it. So call 1-800-FARMERS to switch your auto policy, and you could save an average of $470. Get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Welcome back, everybody. We have the grid set here for tonight's show. Looks like Chris Severa going to capture the pole here at Bristol with Don Avery on the outside pole. Stephen Pereiro in the 23 going to be starting in third place. Kendall Lavron in the 5 in fourth place. Fifth place going to belong to Abner Acosta in the 44. I do believe seventh place. I'm sorry, got a little mixed up there. I'm sorry. Sixth place going to be Corey Cook. Seventh place going to be Frank Flores. Ninth place going to be Kenny Powell. Jose Acosta going to be lining up there in, I do believe, the 10th spot. I'm sorry, the 9th spot. Josh Schaffner going to be in 10th. I got all mixed up there, Big Al.
Yeah, Gabriel Cantu is going to be in 11th with Paul Osen in 12th, and Ron Strunk is going to round out this 13-car field. We are set to go. One to go here before we will be green flag racing. Still waiting on that pace car to go ahead and lead us out here so we can get this show started. It'll be interesting to see how this first couple of stages plays out, Brian, because like you said, I do believe some drivers are going to be aggressive where other drivers are probably going to be cautious. And like I was saying earlier, I think the cautious bird wins the worm here. I don't think the aggressive one gets it.
No, I think you're 100% right. I mean, we saw that on Thursday. You were rewarded by being a little bit more patient and, kind of letting the guys go, and you'll catch up later for sure. I know Josh Schaffner was one that I had an eye on Thursday, but unfortunately we saw him have a tragic accident that saw him not able to finish the race. Luckily, he has another shot at it here tonight. Of course, I don't think it's going to be very easy to pass that 62. Chris Silvera has been such a dominant force all season long.
Yeah, conservation. That's going to be the key. And I think we're going to hear drivers say that time and time again. No matter who we talk to, I think they're going to all kind of fall back on that kind of word right there. I think that's going to be the catalyst for anything that's going to be successful here tonight.
100%. Definitely taking a little while for these guys to get rolling off of pit road. So I'm wondering if maybe the crew's having to clean up a little bit of the track or something like that out there. But looks like looks like they're going to be rolling here. Of course, here at Bristol, because it is a short track, these guys are going to go 2 circuits around this place before we get that call to green. One thing to keep in mind that we saw actually, we didn't really see it cause a lot of issues on Thursday, but it could definitely cause issues tonight is, the 2 pit lanes. You have to go down both of them. You know what I mean? And that can definitely confuse some drivers, especially because one side of this track looks just like the other. Even though they might perform differently, they still look almost identical.
Yeah, drivers got to hit their mark, though, and that is going to be a challenge because it is such a long way around. And unfortunately, there's no easy way to do it. So drivers are going to be very cautious going down pit road, especially if they get to green flag pit stops, because the propensity to speed is going to be there, man. But we even saw that some drivers were actually falling all 3 laps back on Thursday due to green flag pit stops.
Yeah, that we did. 35 speed limit on pit road. Very hard to maintain that. Also, another thing we saw a lot on Thursday was guys running different gear ratios. Some guys running 3rd gear ratio cars, and some driving 4th. So curious to see what some of the guys are running out here tonight. Is the pace car down pit road and the green flag out for the first time here tonight. Chris Silvera with an excellent start. Also, Don Avery getting a pretty good jump there to definitely secure 2nd place. He's going to be sticking up to the top to maybe try to get a run up to Chris Silvera. Not able to happen, though, as Kendall LeBron settles in 3rd. Corey Cook sitting right now in 4th place.
Yeah, but not for long, as he is all over the bumper of Kendall LeBron, and he is trying to get around him. But meanwhile, he has got what would be the 2 car of Steven Piero that is doing just the same, Brian.
Yeah, definitely is. We also see Abner right there behind it. So, a line of race cars right now. Looks like a lot of guys not really trying to go for the pass just yet. Maybe have a little bit of patience in mind, knowing that, this is the testing phase, I think, of, the first stage definitely going to be important to try to get all the relevant data you can to see if you need to make adjustments. And also, you got to try to keep up with this track. We talked about it before. The track is going to change constantly, especially as we get into the night.
Yeah, absolutely. So these drivers, this is like a multi-groove racetrack, just like it's a multi-gear racetrack. So guys are going to have to be very cautious and don't run up into the car that's in front of them. So you're going to have to actually watch out for that too. And you will see drivers actually check up and get to the outside as that does happen.
Taking a look through the cockpit camera here of Don Avery as he follows right behind Chris Silvera. You can kind of see how this is going. He gets up to the red line. It looks like he's running a 4th gear setup right now, but he's staying right there on Chris Silvera. I think he's just pacing himself. He knows that Silvera is going to be fast, but, both of these guys probably having saving in mind.
Saving is definitely going to be the key word that everybody is going to have to cling to, as we are just now 6 laps into this thing, or lap 7. So far, so good, though. Still green flag racing as Kenny Powell is going to be trying to, looks like he is just all over the bumper of Abner Acosta there, just trying to race him out a little bit, kind of get a feel for him, I guess.
One of the big movers right now is Ryan Strunk. He has already gotten himself up into 8th place. He started last in the field. Of course, like you just mentioned, Kenny Powell up on the top, getting a huge run side by side with Abner. Hopefully he's able to see if he can make that pass stick. Of course, running that top does burn the tire up, it seems like. But Kenny Powell probably wanting to get a better finish than he did on Thursday. Of course, you see the 23 there having a little bit of issues. Going to be going slow on the bottom.
2 got real loose right there on the bottom, and that's going to allow Powell to pull alongside, and he is dragging Ryan Strunk with him. Looks like he is definitely going to get the best of it, but here comes Strunk, and he is also going to best the 2 also. I don't know if I'm calling him the 2 or the 23. He's just 2 on the screen, so I guess that's what we're going to go with.
Might as well. I mean, that way we don't confuse our audience out there when we're talking. If anytime we're talking about the 23 or the 2, we're talking about Stephen Pereiro, I do believe, he is having some major issues. The 28 of Frank Flores comes up to the rear end of him, gives him a little tap, and it looks like Frank's going to get right by. So that 23 or 2, whichever one you prefer, has fallen into the back of this pack.
Yeah, right now that's exactly what he's got to do. He's got to try to figure out what his handling woes are. Sometimes that's just as much as the driver's driving the car a little bit too hard. This is a concrete racetrack, and these concrete racetracks eat tires. That's what they're notorious for, and that's been the issue that we've been seeing all week here at this track, Brian.
You see Kendall LeVron trying to make a pass here on Corey Cook. Gets underneath him, but just not able to complete it. That is going to be something we're going to see quite a bit here tonight also, as guys, not able to actually complete that pass when they're trying to go on the bottom. 77, though, Ryan Strunk, he has not let that hold him back. But this is classic Ryan Strunk, though, Big Al. He's very, very fast on the short run. We've seen this time and time again, to where he'll run up through this field. I wouldn't be surprised him taking the lead, but the thing about it is we've seen him also struggle on the long runs.
Yeah, we are so tight right here, right now. When we were running this race Thursday, it was definitely a bigger gap. But Chris Severa is just keeping this race at an honest pace. He is not only saving his tires, but he's actually forcing some of the other drivers to save theirs as well, as they don't actually have to go out. They don't have to go out full on sprint to try to catch the leader here.
Yeah, looking at lap times, these guys have not fallen off very much. Only a tenth or maybe 2, as we're now 18 laps into this thing, soon to be 19. Of course, stage 1 ends on lap 50, so verging on a little bit, about to be 30 laps to go here. Chris Severa, though, has led every lap thus far.
Yeah, and then further back in the pack, you're going to see the 42 of Acosta, the 45 of Cantu, and the 50 of Schaffner. These guys are at the very tail end there, and I think this might be just it might be an effort to just try to save tire as much as they can.
Well, I mean, it might not even be that. It could just be that they want to stay alive. They see how tight the racing is up front, and just be available and at the end could set you up for a good finish. I mean, we've seen it before, we haven't seen it necessarily out of Jose Acosta, but it looks like he is, trying to, take a page out of some of these other guys' book. Just be there at the end, and then the positions will come to you.
Yeah, well, speaking of coming to you, it looks like the 61 is going to be inside the 11 of Don Avery. Avery made it all the way up to second place there, and he's pushing the issue there. Corey Cook trying to figure out if he can actually defend the position or not, as he is going to get the benefit of that high line, but the 11 doesn't seem to be going anywhere, and he just got Kendall LeVron sucked up right behind him as well.
And here comes Ryan Strunk all the way up to the back bumper of Kendall LeVron in the 5. Is getting him a little bit unsorted here. I think the Strunk maybe got a little bit of contact to that rear end of the 5. That's going to allow Kenny Powell to come right into the picture as we see a huge battle for the top 5. Of course, Kenny Powell in 6th place right now.
Yeah, and he is definitely right behind the 77 of Ryan Strunk. Powell definitely trying to do a little bit better than he did. I think he did pretty good on Thursday, but he definitely needs to get a good solid finish here, something in the top 5 if he wants to maintain consistency.
Yeah, I think the problem that Kenny Powell ended up running into on Thursday was probably a pit sequence problem. He was very fast.
Just like that, Abner sideways down at the start-finish line. Not sure how that's going to affect him, but definitely no caution just yet.
Yeah, he gets back onto the racing circuit. Looks like everything is going to be fine, but he's definitely going to be losing a lot of positions and a lot of time here.
Yeah, definitely going to have to get back on that horse and giddy up if he wants to stay up. Good thing is, though, did not seem to make a whole lot of contact, seemed to still be up on the pace, and now he is, back underway without getting too terribly sideways there, Brian.
Don Avery also seemed to be having a lot of issues right now as he is sitting there on the inside going very slow, as Kenny Powell's going to be able to get around the high side here. So the 11 struggling. Something wrong with that race car right now. Be curious to see if maybe he heated up the tires a little too much. But going to be 20 laps to go here in the stage.
Yeah, we saw that happen a lot too. And I think once these tires get heated up, it's hard to get the heat out of the tires, and that definitely does affect the handling of the car. I think right now these guys are starting to really feel, if these tires are truly gone. For the guys that didn't save up front, they're definitely starting to feel it right now, Brian.
Kenny Powell now trying to look on the inside of the 77 of Ryan Strunk. This is the battle for 4th place, and looks like Kenny Powell has a little bit more resources left in the 77. Of course, the 77 charged all the way from 13th up to this position he's in right now.
Yeah, and also just like that, Chris Rivera now starting to actually go ahead and stretch his legs out a little bit. I think time to conserve is kind of over now, so he definitely seems to be rolling on along here. 27 laps to go in this stage.
Corey Cook starting to get a little bit of pressure here from the 5 of Kendall LeVron. LeVron starting to catch up here. You see, Cook has been running up on the very top, and we've known that burns the equipment up a little bit. I do believe I just saw Kendall LeVron. He would touch the wall a little bit there.
Yeah, Powell definitely rolling in right now, trying to get himself up into the top 3, get himself a podium, if you will, here at the end of this stage, and that will definitely change his luck a little bit.
Yeah, definitely would be, and he's going to need all the positions he can get. I mean, Chris Rivera has done such a fantastic job here in the playoffs to where, you know, Kenny's got to be in somewhat of a desperation mode to get better finishes here because, you know, I mean, he's got to get around all these other drivers, and he's trying desperately to get around Kendall, but it seems like not going to happen as Kenny moves up to the top side.
Yeah, he's definitely got to try to do the crossover or something to try to get the nose of that 24 inside, and he actually is running now on the inside of the 28. I got to call him that. I'm sorry. The people are seeing 28, so we got to call it right.
What's really confusing, though, is Frank Flores has also got the 28 on his machine, so luckily we haven't had to talk about the Frank Flores very much here. But
and just like that, LeBron gets into the 61 of Corey Chase, pushes him up high on the racetrack. That's going to allow both him and the 24 Powell to gain that position.
Dang, another new face out here, Corey Chase.
Corey Cook, sorry.
The 61, though, definitely running that high side. Seems like he's struggling right now. 16.5 was his last lap. As you also see Don Avery working very hard to try to get around Ryan Strunk here.
Yeah, I think Strunk is definitely trying to battle for position and find himself up into the top 5. Like you said, he started at the very tail end of the field. Now we're under 10 laps to go in this stage 1 and still no cautions, Brian. So I think if that's any indication of what we're going to be in store for here tonight, I think we're going to be in for a good one.
Yeah, it definitely does appear that to be the case as we see battling right now for that 6th, or I should say 5th and 6th position. Also, Kenny Powell working heavily on Kendall LeVron, trying to take over 2nd as Chris Rivera now out to 2.7 seconds of a lead. He is driving away while these guys are battling.
Yeah, Rivera just waited until right there about 20 laps to go, and then he just stretched his legs out and started to run away with it. Right now, he is slowly catching up with the 45 of Cantu. For whatever reason, Cantu way off the pace, and he is still definitely going to be in jeopardy of going a lap down here, Brian.
Got the cockpit camera here for Kenny Powell as he's on the inside of the 5 of Ken LeVron. Of course, says 28 on your screen, but definitely an interesting view to see what Kenny can do to try to get around on the inside. Very hard to get the run on the exits here. You see he slides up a little bit. He's starting to maybe get a little impatient. And when you're on the inside of someone for so long and you can't get that pass completed, you do get a little impatient when you say Big Al.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like I said, tires wear, tempers flare. And that's exactly what's going to happen out here is guys will be battling, trying to get around guys. You know, and these two guys were teammates. So Powell's not going to take the bumper to him just yet because they're probably in Discord. And he's just saying, man, if you don't get out of the way. But so far, everything just worked out really good here as we're now coming to 2 to go in this stage, Brian. And I just don't think we could have asked for a better first stage.
Oh, problems. Kendall LeVron around.
I don't know what happened there.
That is going to prematurely end stage number 1. I do believe it might have came as a result from Kenny Powell getting into the back bumper of Kendall. We'll have to take a look back at that one.
Tires are going to wear. Tempers are going to flare.
Looking back at this accident here. kind of a little bit of a slow-mo right here as we see Kenny Powell trying to take that spot away. Kendall way up the racetrack. And it might not even really have been a bump, to be honest with you.
Looks like Kendall just washed up. Looks like he was high on the racetrack, Brian, got into that loose stuff, and the tail end just came around. I don't think he actually had any contact with the 24, but he definitely made contact with the 11.
Yeah, definitely. The 11 got probably some front-end damage. Luckily, front-end damage hasn't been too, bad here at this track. The main thing we've seen being the problem has been a broken toe link. We've seen guys get, you can get some damage at this place and still be able to run around.
Well, just like that, though, stage 1 is going to actually come to an end here. And that's going to put Chris Severa is going to be your official stage 1 winner, or unofficial. Kenny Powell is going to go into, well, I don't have that anymore.
Kenny Powell, I do believe, second place. Don Avery in third. Corey Cook fourth. Fifth place, Josh Schaffner right now. Sixth place, Jose Acosta. Abner Acosta in seventh place. Eighth place, Stephen Pereiro. Ninth place, Frank Flores. 10th, Kendall Levron after getting spun right there. But I don't know if that was actually the finishing order for stage 1, but we do know Chris Severa is your stage 1 winner. Let's go ahead and grab him up. Why don't we, Big Al?
Yep, hold on.
All righty, we got him here in the booth. Chris Severa, stage 1 winner. Very, very dominant, too, man. Car seems like it's handling really well. How's it feeling for you?
It's all right. I feel a little snug. It's a little worrying with the sun going down. I think it's just going to get tighter, so we're going to have to see how it is in this stage and then probably take a swing at it at the next stage. But yeah, it's good now.
Well, I know the track conditions are going to be continuously changing here tonight, and have you been saving tires? It seemed like for a little bit there you were kind of backing up the field a little bit, kind of forcing everybody else to save, and then once it got about 20 to go, you kind of hit the switch and you started getting away.
Yeah, you just have to save and run like half a second off pace in order to have anything on the long run. So that's pretty much the game plan.
Well, it definitely seems like it's working out for you, man. Well, I think you guys are getting ready to get back racing here. Who can we give a shout-out for or two?
Just everybody gas and go, and you guys, as always, for putting on a fantastic show.
We appreciate that. My heart, I swear my cheeks are getting rosy and flush. I'm flattered. Well, Chris, we'll see you. Good luck to you.
Thanks, guys.
That was Chris Severa, your stage number 1 winner. Pace car lights are out, and, of course, heading right on down pit road. Green flag out in the air as they exit the Geico restart zone. Chris Severa mashing that gas pedal down. Josh Schaffner getting a wicked restart. He's going to be able to move his way up into second. He is, man, I'm surprised he was able to make up that many positions on pit road.
Yeah, so it definitely has to be something to the strategy that they use in order to make up as many places, because he was really at the tail end of the field. But as we get going here now, Powell's going to be running, trying to get around the outside of his G&G teammate, and that's going to make it a G&G 1-2-3 right there, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you what, though, even though these guys are teammates, it doesn't look like it based on the racing that we see on the racetrack. Here comes Kenny Powell on the top side. He is trying to take the lead early, but we know that, we saw on Thursday Powell had definitely a little bit of a strategy of trying to save tires. Does not look like he's using that right now, or maybe just wants to get out in front of Chris and get some laps led, maybe try to win this stage just to get some points. He needs them.
Yeah, well, right there, Kenny Powell just ran his fastest and the fastest lap of the race with a 14.872. So if that's so far, that makes him the only driver in the entire contest to actually run a sub 15 lap. So that lets you know where his head's at. I don't think that's on conservation mode. I think right now he just wants to get out front, lead laps, and just run with this thing. The 11 of Don Avery, though, is battling side by side with the 77 of Strunk. This is definitely a battle up into the top 5 here. And these two are going at it pretty hard like heavyweight contenders. They got Josh Schaffner right there in front of them, but right there behind them, here comes that 42 of Jose Acosta, as he is definitely making his way, trying to get up into the top 5 for the first time tonight, Brian.
Yeah, he definitely is. We saw earlier he was kind of holding back and chilling in the back, but it looks like he has definitely started working his way forward. Josh Schaffner now under a tremendous amount of pressure here from the 77. We know Josh Schaffner is not one that usually folds the pressure. He's going to run his race and run the track. That's the one thing about it, Miguel. You know, you got to race the racetrack. You got to race to save your equipment. You know, you see other guys pushing you. You see other guys trying to get around you. You can't let that, you can't let that tempt you into running harder.
Yeah, now you got the 28 of Frank Flores, the original 28 there. He is coming to do battle with the 42 of Jose Acosta all over his back end right now. Jose just not being able to catch a break now. Jose's running pretty strong. I think that Flores just might be taking him out of his comfort zone just a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. The 28 putting a whole lot of pressure on the rear end of the 42. Also the 61 side by side right behind him with Abner Acosta. Oh, Corey Cook into the outside wall a bit there.
Yeah, Cook's running high. He's running that very top line, and you kind of flirting with disaster there, like another one of those Molly Hatchet throwbacks. But he's got to be very careful of that because you will get that stripe, and sometimes it just could push you back into another car. As you see Flores right here, still working up there, trying to get on the back end of Acosta.
Yeah, not having much luck there to try to get past Acosta. I'm sure Flores is starting to get a little frustrated as Corey Cook. He has just got a magnet on that race car for the wall. He's hit it twice in that last lap.
Oh, and that time he hits the 28 of Frank Flores, and that's going to send Flores down into that inside retaining wall. And I'm going to tell you, that was a pretty hard shot. Definitely would be surprised if he doesn't find himself the recipient of that meatball flag. And, yep, absolutely, Frank Flores with the meatball flag. He's going to be coming down pit road, Brian.
Unfortunate. Frank was showing a lot of speed there, just wrong place, wrong time, getting involved with Corey Cook there.
Yeah, that's probably going to put him down there just for a little bit. And, just having to come down pit road, having to get down to the speed, go all the way down, plus he's going to be down for maintenance. So he's definitely going to see himself falling way back out of this thing. And, hey, guess what? He is the only driver right now that we're showing that's not on the lead lap in this contest.
Yeah, definitely very unfortunate for him. Was showing a lot of pace out there. We see Jose Acosta now trying to work on the inside of Josh Schaffner.
That's one of those things, when you're up there on the wall sometimes, Jose's going to stick his nose right there into the back of that corn Chevy of Schaffner. I don't know if Schaffner is going to appreciate that too much. But, one of the things I said, though, when you could actually have the tendency to bounce off of that wall and kind of send that car right into the inside, and that's exactly what happened to Frank Flores.
And, man, this is looking very sketchy right now as Josh Schaffner gets passed on the high side by Corey Cook. A lot of pressure putting on this 50 right now. He almost verging on getting put 3 wide there for a moment as Kendall Ron surges around on the high side.
Yeah, we're still early into this thing. We're not even halfway into this stage yet. So, surprised these guys are actually out there battling this hard. Usually, I think it's about 20 to go is when we'll see everything kind of hit that chaos button. But shout out to Kenny Powell because he has definitely been leading the majority of this stage. And now looks like Schaffner finds himself kind of right there in the midst of that Pandretta racing team.
Yeah, Kenny Powell now up in the lead, but I don't know for how much longer as Ryan Strunk is running him down. Strunk, of course, at this point in the run, usually Strunk starts to have his tires start to, really wear. But I'm telling you what, another person is having a big surge of speed here that we know usually 20 to go starts to hit that switch to get going is Chris Severa. He's now right there behind Strunk. Even though these guys got around him, he's coming back.
Oh, he's going to hit that go, baby, go switch, especially now. And then, what are you going to do? He knows exactly how long he needs to conserve. And, this is probably his way of trying to see what his strategy is going to be as we get ready to go into that third and final stage. But as of right now, man, these guys have been clean and green, Brian, and that's just going to increase the probability of us actually getting able to see some green flag pit stops. That's the 42 of Jose Acosta still battling underneath the 61 of Corey Cook. He is trying to get that position, but Cook has been the one guy that's been making that high line work here for the majority of this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely had his share of problems up there, getting into the wall and things of that nature, but he's been running it, and he's just fast enough up there to where he's keeping these guys from passing him. It looks like the 42 able to actually get ahead of him and now makes his way up into 6th position. And here comes, I do believe, Abner Acosta going to follow right beside him. So, definitely a great job for this 42. And, of course, a Pantiera, right? I believe that's what they are.
Pandretta. The
I
Pandretta.
apologize about that. Abner starting to put some pressure even on his brother here. Kind of a little bit of a sibling rivalry going on. It's side by side.
It's good to see that these two guys are actually running high up in the top 10 like this. If they can actually hold that off, that's going to be a good, strong performance for that team here tonight on their initial, on their debut, if you will. But Kenny Powell's still actually able to hold a lead here, lead just around 4/10 of a second. And right now, that Chris Severa actually did have the fastest lap on the racetrack right there. So I think now he is actually going to start to roll to the front as we're going to be 15 to go in the stage at the line.
Yeah, look at him. I mean, he's getting a huge run up to the Mac bumper of the 77, gets these huge runs on the exit. Now he's going to do the crossover maneuver underneath the 77. He's been running 2/10, even more faster than these guys, so I would not be surprised to see Severa get around this 77. Of course, he just did. Now he's going to be setting his sights on the 24 of Kenny Powell.
Yeah, Chris just kind of bends the corners different, if you will. It's kind of like, watching Keith Urban play the guitar. That's kind of the way he is when he wields that Fanatec Ford around the racetrack.
Yeah, for sure. You can see that he takes a very high entry to the corner, runs it pretty close to the wall, but on exit, he kind of cuts it down. A little bit of a diamond there for him to be able to get a good run of speed on the exit and not have that problem where you can kind of, when you're coming out of the corners here at Bristol, very easy to get up in that wall.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just doesn't take much here. And sometimes these cars can be a little bit tough. Sometimes they can be a little bit fragile. It's a 77, and Ryan Strunton's going to be trying to do everything he can to maintain his position. He is slowly being closed down by the 11 of Don Avery. But Kenny Powell's got the 62 of Chris Severa in his rear view mirror.
Abner Acosta is on the move right now. Just got around Kendall LeVron, now up into 5th place.
Yeah, he was actually doing pretty good in the first stage until he actually lost control of his ride, and that kind of sent him to the back of the field. But, yeah, he is back on it, doggone it, and looks like he is definitely here to put on the show as he has clawed his way back up into the top 5 here.
Yeah, and looking at his lap times right now, he's faster than the majority of the guys in front of him, except for, I do believe, probably Chris Severa. Actually, Kenny Powell last time, pretty good lap. He's starting to, I think, pull away a little bit from Chris Severa. Surprised to see it. We thought Severa. Oh, problems for Kenny Powell. He gets loose. Huge loose condition out of turn 4.
And that is going to be everything. That's going to be the only thing that Chris Severa needs is he is now going to be trying to close that gap. Powell's got to get back onto the rhythm and get back to turning those lap speeds that he needs if he wants to kind of walk away with a stage victory here.
Yeah, this is going to be close here as I do believe we're going to have 7 laps to go when we cross the line next time by. Kenny Powell is scored your leader, but right there behind him, here comes Severa. Huge run on the high side. Still not able to get that pass completed, but Powell seems like he is having some struggles right now.
Yeah, that loose condition did not do his tires or his confidence any favors. So now he's going to be trying to do everything that he can to get that back. But just like that, Jose Acosta is now doing battle with Kendall LeVron. These two going side by side for position. Oh just
problems.
Like that, LeVron gets into the 42 of Acosta.
Oh, and Josh Schaffner lays on the brakes to try to avoid the incident. No caution. Big damage onto the right side, though, of Kendall LeVron.
I don't think that's going to be the end of that contact here this evening, even though it seemed incidental. But way to go, Kenny Powell. He is still fighting, holding off the lead here. Just got 3 laps left to go in this stage.
Yeah, Kenny holding on for dear life, waiting for that stage caution to come out. Trying to make that car as wide as he possibly can. He does not want Chris Severa to get any kind of a run. What is going on with Kenny Powell? Something is wrong with that race car. He just let off the gas completely and let Chris Severa go. Something is wrong with that 24 machine. As we see side-by-side battling for with Abner Acosta and Ryan Strunk. Abner has been having a phenomenal day today. It looks like he is a top 3 machine.
I'm not sure what's going on with that.
That is weird. Chris Severa even just slowed down. What is going on? Kenny Powell back to the lead, and I think he's going to get the stage win. This is really, really confusing right now.
Well, the stage hasn't not yet ended just yet.
Definitely, white flag is out, though.
There it is. There's the end of the stage. Severa dropped it all the way back to 4. That's going to make Kenny Powell your stage 2 winner. Ryan Strunk's going to come across in second. Abner Acosta with a podium there for his stage 2. Chris Severa 4th. Don Avery 5th. Stephen Piera in 6th. Kendall LeVron 7th. Jose Acosta in 8th. Josh Souther 9th, and then Gabriel Alejandro Cantu rounds out those top 10 point spinning positions. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a brief step away and get a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back with our Stage 2 winner, Kenny Powell.
Getting into this particular business, it was very important for us to make sure that we were putting out the most authentic product. Sugarlands Distilling Company is a fantastic distillery in downtown Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Our goal is to spread across the country. We would love your help in doing that.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like everybody is making their way down pit road. And this is going to be a very important stop here because this is when the race truly begins. Going to have a little less than 150 laps remaining as we start the final stage of this event. And fuel window is 138 laps, so going to be very close. I mean, it could even be possible to save that amount of gas, but is it worth it to even try? As everybody's going to be making their way off of pit road, we're going to go ahead and bring Mr. Kenny Powell in here. Big Al's going to be standing by with him.
Hey, Kenny Powell, Big Al up in the booth. Got me?
I got you.
Man, what happened there? That's what I think everybody is wondering.
Oh, man. I don't even know where to start. I got a hot rod under me, and I methodically just had my patient pants on till the end there, and I was just having some issues getting past Kendall. I tried him low, and I didn't want to slide up and hit him, and just try to follow him through to see if I could peak on the high side, and we got into each other, and that sucked. So not proud about that, but got that stage done, and I just didn't want to stay behind anybody anymore, so I came out swinging and took control of the stage, and worked out for me.
Well, congratulations, man, for your stage 2 victory. And yeah, it looks like you were making some friends along the way. What happened with you and the Chris Severa there, as it seemed at one point you kind of got way off the throttle and then re-engaged?
Yeah, so unfortunately, that's a admin type issue. My engine cut off trying to put out the pits closed. Chris recognized that and was a gentleman and a scholar and let him back.
Oh, Roger that. Well, congratulations again on your second place, on your second stage victory. Before we let you go, you want to give a mini shout out to anybody?
All my guys at G&G and you guys in the booth. Make it all happen.
All right, Kenny, and good luck to you, boss, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you a little bit later on.
Green flag is back out in the air, cutting a little bit close there with Kenny Powell, but it looks like it did not hurt his start at all as he is going to be able to gas it up and go. Now Chris Severa under a ton of fire from Abner Acosta. Abner able to get on the inside here.
So now it's going to be interesting to see how this pit strategy works out. A guy's going to be going hard or they're going to be trying to split the difference. We saw all kinds of strategies on Thursday. I think we're going to see a lot of different strategies here tonight as well. But also kudos to Frank Flores as he is now back into the race and off of pit road, which means we got every car that we started with here tonight, Ryan.
That we do. Ryan Strunk working his way up to third, now trying to work his way up to Chris Severa. Oh, gets really close to the back bumper of the 62. Yeah, glad to see Frank Flores back on the track. Also, Kendall LeBron is now 1 lap down, trying to get his way back onto the lead lap. He's going to be hoping for some type of caution, but if this goes anything like what we saw on Thursday, caution's probably not going to come.
But I think what we will see, there's going to be a certain demographic of drivers that are actually going to burn up their equipment, if you will, and it's going to, because we're going to see this, it's going to make those cars handle so poorly that those guys are going to start their own pit sequence, and that's going to give us 3 different race grooves, if you will. We're going to have the guys on new tires, we're going to have the guys on old tires, and you're going to have lap cars. That's what's all going to play out here in this third and final stage, Brian.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's going to definitely be some lap traffic out there on the track. Surprised we haven't seen a whole lot of lap traffic really play in to the race so far. I mean, I know on Thursday, even during those 50-lap stages, we saw some lap cars kind of come and affect, the guys up here. But luckily, it has not been that way. But I think eventually we will end up seeing that.
And we've seen a lot of different lead changes here tonight, too, because Thursday was more like the Clayton Hoffman show. But tonight, we've had our fair share. At least 3 different cars have actually led laps around this thing, with the 77 of Ryan Strunk being in command of this show right now.
Yeah, Ryan Strunk, known for how good his short-run pace is, and he is showing that right now as he is in command of the race. But one thing about it, we always know he struggles on the longer run, so he might be one of the ones that kind of come down a bit earlier.
Yeah, that is definitely going to be what we're watching out for, because you can see the field is definitely starting to stretch out now.
Yeah, those stages, those guys were not wanting to stretch out. They were wanting to stay right up on top of each other for that entire stage. But this is when we're going to see probably the field starting to spread out a little bit more. As Chris Severa now running on the high side, trying to work on Kenny Powell for second place.
Now, one driver that is really kind of falling back, the 61 of Corey Cook, found him all the way in the back hanging out with Frank Flores, and I'm not sure what's going on with that, but we'll be monitoring those guys to see exactly what kind of because it doesn't seem that they're off the pace, though, but right now it looks like the 45 of Gabriel Cantu is not looks like he's off the racetrack.
Yeah, I'm showing him out of the race car right now, 4 laps down, so something must have happened as we're taking a cockpit camera here from Abner Acosta. Definitely, he has been impressing. And I don't know if, being Jose Acosta, I don't know if I would invite my brother into a league if I knew he was going to do this well.
Definitely a little sibling rivalry. There's nothing wrong with that, as we got another pair of brothers in here. So can't wait to see when those 2 groups have a play date.
Oh, yeah. You see Abner right there on the back of the 24, putting some pressure on that race car.
Yeah, Kenny Powell actually let the 62 of Chris Severa go by, so that's going to move Severa up to second place. Powell now just kind of looks like he's just trying to find his pace, but it seems like everybody's being a little pushy-shovey out there tonight, Brian.
Yeah, and I think Kenny maybe, trying to take it a little bit easier on the tires could be the case. I mean, he's like, I'll follow this 62. I know that he's good at saving equipment, so let me try to, if I could just stay with him, I might be able to save.
Yes, look like we're coming up on halfway through this thing. Just 125 laps to go. That's got to make everybody feel better.
I don't know. This place will definitely take it out of you. I mean, this is an endurance race in a lot of ways, even though it goes by quickly. These guys are definitely going to feel it physically at the end of this thing. I mean, I'll tell you, I've done some of these A-Opens here this week, and it has been a blast. But one thing about it that it has been very sore, makes your arms very sore.
I don't want to talk about it.
And that's only 175 laps here at that in the A Open. This is a 250 lap race. So imagine how those guys in the real cars doing 500, or in the guys that run the NIS.
Yeah, but see, those guys pay a lot better than Kenny pays, though, so that's a big difference. Is there really? Oh, looks like the 44 of Abner Acosta just going to give a little bit of a love tap there to the 24 Kenny Powell.
Also, we're watching Jose Acosta start to catch up here to Don Avery. Yeah, it looks like Abner maybe getting a little bit of fed up being stuck behind these two cars, as Kenny Powell now going to try to pass Chris Severa back here on the high side. This is the battle for second place. Of course, Ryan Strunk now out to about 1.2 seconds of a lead, but he has been starting to slow down here, Big Al. We've seen it time and time again. You know, his definitely does not have the long run pace. His last time by 15.3 versus Kenny Powell right behind him, 15.2. So it's already starting to trend the wrong direction for Strunk.
Well, that's always about that 30-lap sequence there in those tires. Once those tires hit 30 laps, they start to do different things, and I think Strunk is right there in that window now. So he is definitely probably going to fall back, and that's why I said, you know, well, that's why I said that you're going to see guys that are going to actually pit a lot sooner than some guys.
Look at that, Abner Acosta side by side for second place with Kenny Powell, but Powell running the top side, able to defend against this position, or trying to, you know, just, I'd say, invading for his position.
Now, this is going to be a good battle, but this is going to be one that we're just going to have to watch and see how it plays out.
Yeah, especially because, I mean, Kenny's not used to Abner. I mean, Abner's not used to Kenny. These guys are new.
Yeah, how much patience does each one have, Grasshopper?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, definitely an interesting question for sure.
Yeah, I think we'll find out the answer to that sooner than later.
Also, Don Avery and Jose Acosta all right there on top of each other with Chris Severa. Looks like Jose Acosta is able to pass Avery, because Avery was trying to pass Chris Severa, but unfortunately that proved a little bit more difficult than I guess he suspected, and Jose said, let me try.
You know, I'm interested in what's going on here further back in the pack. These guys back with Josh Schaffner, I mean, they were just really kind of laying back there and holding really good pace. So I'm starting to think that these guys are going to be the guys that run all the way, you know, try to get that full long run out of there.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Josh Schaffner's lap times, he's running faster than a lot of the guys that are in front of him. But unfortunately, he is 7.4 seconds behind the leader. So quite a bit of distance that he's going to have to try to make up with his strategy here.
But if he can go for the long haul, though, Brian, especially like the 77 of Strunk, I think Strunk's lap times is just going to continue to deteriorate. So if you look at what those guys are doing, I think they can run consistent laps. Maybe I don't know. I'm trying to dissect their theory. But I think maybe that might be what the call is, because he's also got Kendall LeBron back there with him. And we've seen the 61 of Corey Cook. He's been running that high line all day, but he's also been showing tremendous pace.
Kenny Powell just got passed for second place. Abner Acosta now takes it over, and Abner only 4/10 behind Ryan Strunk. Could we see yet another leader?
Oh, absolutely.
Abner has been doing nothing but impressing here tonight. He seems like he's got the whole package, short run and long run.
And now they're going to be approaching Frank Flores, so hopefully that doesn't impede on the leaders battling with each other, but it's just going to be at one of those unfortunate times. Nope, they made it by with no problem.
And I'm loving what Abner's doing. He is riding right around the bottom line, and it seems like that car turns very well down there, and probably saves tires down there too. As he gets side by side for the lead. Oh, almost some contact. As Strunk's just going to have to give it up. I don't think he can even compete against Abner right now. Abner, your new leader.
Oh, Strunk did just lose it. Kind of, they had to pedal that thing through to keep it straight, just showing just how much he was trying to keep up with the 44. But now the 44 is out, and Abner Acosta, our new leader, welcome here also. That's going to be definitely going to be interesting to see how this thing shakes up now.
Yeah, definitely going to be a big night for Pandaretta. I know that Jose's been with us for a while, but seeing some new faces out here, I mean, it definitely kind of changes the competition in this series. I mean, yeah. I welcome it, though. I welcome the competition.
Absolutely, Brian, and also getting the addition of another team into the league, that even makes it, that much more cooler.
100%. Looking at this, though, Chris Severa has fallen all the way back to 6th place. He's now 5.5 seconds behind the leader, so something may be wrong with that 62, or is this on purpose?
This is on purpose. This is how they're going to try to save fuel, try to save tires. Because I think staying out there for the fuel is one thing, but trying to get the tires to hold on, something totally different. I think that's what we're seeing these guys do right now.
Chris Severa last time by 15.855. But one thing about it, though, Big Al, you got to keep in mind when you talked to Chris Severa, he said that he was trending on the tight side. Could it be that?
Well, he also said that he was going to make some adjustments. So, not all adjustments are good adjustments. Could it be that?
It definitely could very well be. I mean, it could maybe he had made an adjustment to try to fix it and really didn't help it. Could have even made it worse.
Oh, and a 61 into the wall there.
And he has been no stranger to that outside wall, and looks like he's got a broken toe link on that right front.
Yeah,
he's going to be finding himself down pit road.
Very hard contact right there, so definitely going to be the recipient of that meatball flag. Very unfortunate.
Very much is.
Hopefully he can make it around without causing the caution to come out.
And I would assume that car's probably having problems turning. I'm surprised looks like he is going to manage to successfully get it down pit road, though. Going to be 8 minutes are required for that, for sure, at the least, I should say.
Yeah, that's just going to be a long night for somebody with a hammer and a wrench.
And one thing about Bristol, I mean, 8 minutes required at a bigger track, that's salvageable. At Bristol, that is a non-starter. You are done. But, I mean, of course, don't give up because you never know what can happen. I mean, even though Thursday probably proved us wrong in that department. But, I mean, Bristol is still such a it's almost a dice roll of a track. A super speedway of the short tracks, I'd say.
Now, was it the 61 that made contact with Frank Flores earlier?
I think that might have been – was that Kendall LeVron? I might be mistaken.
Okay. Well, just have to. We'll find out soon enough. I'm pretty sure.
Well, now Kenny Powell going to be under fire here shortly as you see Don Avery catches up.
Yeah.
Avery's been looking really good, and I heard he made some changes to the car coming into tonight's race. He ran pretty well on Thursday.
That's a good-looking car that he's running there too. I like that paint scheme, Brian.
I'm sure Kenny Powell don't like it very much as it is closing in on him.
Oh,
a little bit of a loose condition.
Yeah, he had to pedal that thing again. He has been pedaling that car a lot here tonight, so definitely seems like he is not tight, but probably more on the loose side. Well, right now, 56 laps into this stint, so I think a lot of these guys, this is the longest that they have been. So now I'm just sitting watching to see what's going on, and we are absolutely within the pit window as well.
Yeah, we definitely are. These guys have been about 56, 57 laps on their equipment right now. So could see green flag pit stops really anytime, probably in the next 30 to 40 laps, I would say. But Abner Acosta, right now your leader, has 2.7 seconds on second place, Ryan Strunk. And he continues to grow that lead. I mean, 15.8 last time by, 15.9 this time by. And,
that's because Strunk is in the battle of his life with the 24 Kenny Powell. These two have been going at it side by side, and they just made contact yet again. Powell definitely seems to be a little bit frustrated because I think he knows he's faster than Strunk right now, but he just can't get around him.
Yeah, that's getting around one, catching someone's one thing, getting around them is another thing completely. But this is just allowing, Abner to just drive away, running faster times than everybody on the track right now. And the fall off has been, I think, even more than what we saw on Thursday, to be honest with you. I mean, it seems like, we didn't see guys falling into the 16-second laps at this point.
But these guys have been battling a lot harder than the Thursday night race, too. Seemed like everybody in the Thursday night race was kind of more laid back, but these guys are literally, there's been solid competition for positions all over the racetrack here for the majority of the evening.
So you one to keep an eye on, probably that 11, Don Avery. Last time by, he was the fastest car on the track, I do believe, or was the fastest car for a moment there, as they just turned a lap, and actually Kenny Powell and Ryan Strunk were able to turn a little bit quicker here. Of course, Abner Acosta, 16.136, so he is still turning in the right direction. I've been very impressed with this 44. I think, man, I don't know. I think Jose is going to be like, man, why did I bring this guy in here?
Well, he still got to pit through it, and that's what we're going to see is that's going to be the key, because these drivers are going to have to make green flag pit stops, and the person who gets the most, whoever's the most efficient and proficient on pitting on pit road, that's going to be the guy that's actually going to come home with the trophy at the end of this thing.
Yeah, for sure. So easy to make a mistake here at this place. Like I mentioned before, both sides of this track look almost identical, and you're having to go through both pit lanes too, which is going to take a lot of time and very easy in that amount of time for the chance to increase of you getting a speeding penalty, and you definitely don't want to get one of those, especially at a track like Bristol. You get one under green, you get a 40-second hold. Well, that doesn't sound like much, huh? Well, guess what? The lap times around this place, 15 to 16 second laps. I mean, that equals multiple laps down.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we saw too was drivers are going to have to figure out the best time to pit, so they're actually going to be able to hammer down for that last sequence, because you want to be able to go faster for a shorter period. I do believe is going to be the key on this racetrack. You just have to ensure that you're going to leave yourself enough time to run down those guys that are going to be pitting a little bit sooner than you are.
Yeah, one thing we saw on Thursday, we saw Mark Pageant run it very long. He ran a long kind of, overcut, I guess you would say, and, was driving down the leader, almost caught Clayton Hoffman. If he maybe had some more time, he might have caught him. Could we see someone try to take that same approach here?
And I'm wondering, some of these guys have probably ran the NIS and the A Open, so they probably push it a long way on fuel too. So I think we're going to get to see that as well.
I'll tell you what, Kenny Powell, I guarantee you the frustration is really starting to set in. He has been on the back bumper of the 77 trying to pass him for multiple laps. But that's one of the features of Bristol, though. When it comes to getting a pass done, it does take multiple laps to get it done. You're not going to get that done in one lap. It's a work in progress, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. And our leader, the 44 of Abner Acosta, slowly creeping up to the 23, and that's going to be Steven Piero. Once he catches up to him, he's been trying to put him and Kendall LeBron both a lap down.
100%. And those guys definitely are not going to want to go a lap down here, but don't really know what they can do. Lap traffic definitely starting to come into play here. If these guys slow down Abner any, this could be good for the guys behind, but I don't know how much they could slow him down, just considering Abner has almost 5 seconds of lead right now. This guy is looking really good.
Listen to what I'm getting ready to say, and I want you to process this. Once he gets by the 23 and the 5, the next car that he is going to be chomping at the bit to put a lap down is going to be the 5-0 of Schaffner.
And that is crazy. I mean, Josh Schaffner truly could go a lap down here. That looks like the 2, Steven Pereira, is going to get right out of the way, and he's going to go a lap down now.
And guess who's in front of Schaffner?
Chris Severa. And Severa, could go a lap down too. Severa not showing his usual pace. I think something, he is probably desperate to see a caution or something so he can make some wholesale adjustments.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder what's going on here. I think you've now entered the twilight zone.
Yeah, this is definitely this is odd. That's for sure. I think we're on the upside down right now.
Yeah, because here it is. The 44 of Acosta is chomping at the bit right now. He is coming up to Kendall LeBron.
Yeah, Kendall definitely probably not wanting to go a lap down. That's for sure. No one is going to want to go a lap down at Bristol. Very difficult to get it, especially get that lap back, especially when you're not seeing any cautions. I mean, this is nuts. I mean, this literally is the twilight zone. I mean, usually you come to a track like Bristol, cautions are going to happen no matter what usually, but it does not seem like it has been the case truly.
66 laps to go, and green flag pit stops have actually officially begun. The 11 of Don Avery, the first taker to come down pit road now. No doubt this will be a 4-tire fuel stop.
I think this is a good call for Avery. I think he's splitting it pretty much right down the middle. I wouldn't be surprised to see Avery get himself a solid top 3.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be the mark right now that everybody's going to be watching.
Yeah, it looks like Ryan Strunk, after trying to hold off Kenny Powell, finally has kind of pulled away. And he has been really dedicated to running a little bit higher on the racetrack.
So right now we're watching the 50 of Shofter and 62 of Severa. They have got the leader who is slowly bringing these guys in.
Yeah, he is definitely really starting to catch him. And the thing is, it's going to help him out even more, is that Schaffner has caught Chris Severa. So Severa and him could start battling, and that could give Abner everything he needs to catch up to these guys even quicker.
Yeah, wow. They're in an Acosta sandwich too right now. That's the 24 Kenny Powell comes down pit road. Oh, the 11 of Avery just comes hard in on Kendall LeBron, and that's what we got to watch out for, because now we're going to have that situation of lap cars, cars on fresh tires, cars on old tires.
Yeah, it's so difficult to judge the momentum from drivers as being on old tires versus new tires.
And here comes the 11 of Avery, and he is going to be trying to bust up the 50 of Shofter and the 62 of Severa. As of right now, Chris Severa is getting ready to go a lap down.
Yeah, Avery, phenomenal job getting through there. He cut right through him. Great job for Don Avery there. Severa was, getting worked on by John Schaffner, but Schaffner, in all that whole mess, was able to get clear of Severa. But now Abner Acosta has put Chris Severa a lap down. I mean, who would have ever thought we'd see Chris Severa going a lap down on the racetrack there, Big Al?
Hey, look, I just had to let you say it because I'd already said it once, because we don't get to say that every day. Heck, I might even get to interview Chris Severa. I never get to interview winners, right?
How are you going to interview him? I don't know if you think he's going to finish in the top 3 with what we've seen so far?
Yeah, definitely. As the 77 of Ryan Strunk now finds himself down pit road.
As you mentioned before, though, Kenny Powell has already taken his pit stop. He is out there right now 3 laps down. Abner Acosta is still trying to run down Josh Schaffner. There's a real possibility that Abner could lap his brother. I mean, look at that. Jose's not that far out in front of him.
Yeah, right now, Schaffner finds himself in a Acosta sandwich.
Definitely. He is the meat in the middle of the bread, the Acosta bread, if you will.
Now, I mean, just like that, Abner's is literally has a strong possibility of lapping the entire field.
And the thing about it is he's doing it long cut, too. I mean, he's not coming down, when you'd expect him to. So he's kind of pulling a Mark Pageant here. As here comes Kenny Powell with fresh tires. Abner going to try his best to get out of the way. Powell surges ahead on the top. That just goes to show you how important those new tires are. I mean, Abner probably not wanting to pit here, but it looks like, the leader down pit road. Does he make the commitment cone?
I think that is going to definitely force a lot of people's hands right now, because these guys are coming up on 100 laps right there on their tires, which is actually pretty astronomical. That's pretty awesome. But with just 52 laps to go in this thing, that's almost back to the difference that you had there in the first 2 stages. Everybody knows exactly what their setup needs to look like in order to be fast right there.
Yeah, you see, Jose Acosta, I do believe, just inherited the lead. Looking at his, he has 96 laps on those tires.
And he's also going to be, I believe, the 5th different leader we've had here on this racetrack tonight. Just a strange turn of events here. I got to go check to see if it's a full moon tonight. I don't know what the heck's going on, Brian.
Yeah, me neither. As we got some really close racing, though.
Oh,
Oh,
and the
problems.
11 of Avery, he gets into the 50 of Schaffner. They're going to kind of work it out. But, the 11 has been running on a different kind of groove there. And just like that, we knew that was going to happen. Thank goodness the caution did not come out, because that could have been disastrous for quite a few people.
Definitely was somewhat disastrous for Josh Schaffner. You see some damage on the right side of that race car. He's going to definitely be hating that for sure. But he's also one of the ones that are on old tires, 100-lap old tires. He has caught Jose Acosta here. This is going to be a fight for the lead, even though these guys still have to pit.
Yeah, but there's still a good 30-plus laps there from when they. Oh, there goes the 42. He's coming down pit road.
So that's going to give Josh Schaffner the lead. So I think that's the 6th different driver to lead tonight.
The 23 of Steven Piero, Chris Severa in the 62, and Josh Schaffner all have 101 laps on their equipment.
I think, guys like Chris Severa, they're in pure desperation mode right now. They're trying to, get this, hopefully have a caution. I think that Chris is begging for a caution right now. He's like, that's the only reason he's out here running this far.
I think he's just sticking to his strategy. I think their strategy was to run this thing the long run, and I do believe you stick to your strategy no matter what. That's what I'm a fan of. I don't think you don't change up in midstream.
100%. Jose Acosta, I do believe, coming off of pit road here. I just don't think this is according to plan for Chris Severa. I just don't think he would be doing this unless he was in a desperate mode. As there goes Abner Acosta, going to get around on the high side. He is going to, I do believe, he is right now 1 lap down, just has to catch Ryan Strunk to get that position and then pass Josh Schaffner, and he should be back on the lead lap. Look at that. Both him and Strunk both get back on the lead lap.
Okay.
This has definitely been one odd event here tonight. I mean, the field essentially upside down. Most of the guys you think are usually going to be up towards the front are not.
Yeah, they are. Josh Schaffner's your current leader with Chris Severa in 2nd. Donna Avery's right there in 3rd place, exactly where he needs to be. So I think the field is pretty much set, even up to the top 5 with Kenny Powell in 4th.
No, I mean, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying that when it all shakes out and is settled, I don't believe it's going to be what we usually expect. I mean, Chris Severa just definitely has not been as strong. But I will tell you, on a positive note, Ryan Strunk, I have been very impressed. Usually we talk about him how, he's really, good on the short run. He burns his equipment up. I think he's been making some necessary changes and, has been good the whole way around in a lot of ways. I mean, I've been impressed with that 77 tonight.
Yeah, definitely. He's been running good. Also, the 23, or what you would see on your screen as the 2 of Steven Piero, is down on pit road now.
Like that is going to put him multiple laps down. I do believe he might be. Is he still? He's still down there, so he is now 3 laps down. Here comes Don Avery. I do believe this is a pass for the lead. Of course, Avery kind of short pitted a little bit. Or actually, no, he split it more like in half. I think Avery just took the lead.
Yeah, but right there, if you look who's right behind him, it's going to be Abner Acosta. He is now making his way around Ryan Strunk. Almost made contact there with the 77 as he was trying to get the inside position there. Now he's going to be trying to best up Kenny Powell. This is going to be a battle for what would be 4th place.
Yeah, Abner has been running on the bottom the whole race, and he's going to slide right up in front of Kenny Powell. And I think that takes over 4th place for him. Of course, Strunk and Powell have been battling all race long, and I think Kenny Powell is tired of seeing that orange 77.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
Strunk
both
a little
get a
loose
little
there.
loose there. But look at Abner go. Now he's just on a mission to dial in the 62, and I think he'll catch him, Brian.
You know what? You know what this reminds me of, though, Big Al, is, Jose Acosta, when he first started in this league. Didn't he win one of the first races he ran?
Actually, I think he won 2 out of the first 3.
I mean, very impressive. You could tell the Acosta brothers' talent. A lot of talent.
But I'm gonna say this, okay? I'm not gonna compare Jose to Abner. I'm just gonna let them be 2 individual drivers.
100%, yeah. As Abner going to get right around Josh Schaffner and Chris Severa.
Severa gets really loose there. As both Severa and Schaffner are still on 118, 119 lap old tires.
That they are. They are on the oldest tires in the field right now. And, of course, not really worth it as, Don Avery right now in the lead. He's on 40 lap old tires. Of course, Abner Acosta is on 24 lap old tires.
Maybe they're praying for a caution. I don't know.
That's the only thing I can think, Big Al. I mean, that's the only kind of rationale I can think of. It just doesn't seem like it's going to come.
Oh, it'll come.
You see Don Avery, though, on the high side here, trying to pass Kendall LeVron. I do believe that's going to put him yet another lap down.
Yep, but if Don Avery looks in his rearview mirror, he's going to see the 44 of Abner Acosta, as Acosta has now got that lead cut down to just 1.2 seconds.
You know what's really interesting, Big Al? Something I just noticed. We're looking to the oh, wow. Woo, this is getting bad.
That's going to change everything.
Oh, that was almost a caution. Somehow it wasn't, as Abner caught up to Kendall LeVron like he was not moving. One thing I just noticed, though, Big Al, looking to the cockpit camera, Abner Acosta, he's running a 5th gear setup. I thought we were just going to see 3rd and 4th gears. This guy's running 5th gear. Maybe there's something to that.
I don't know.
It's just kind of interesting. I mean, I thought we were only seeing 4th and 3rd gear setups, but it looks like Abner running a 5th gear. I wonder if that saves the tires. What's that doing for him?
Well, if he can keep his nose clean, we might get an opportunity to ask him those questions and more.
As now, I do believe 20 laps to go.
20 laps to go at the line for the leader, who is soon to be Abner Acosta, as he has caught up to the 11 of Avery. It's going to try to slip right by him on the inside.
Of course, these guys have about 15 lap difference in tires, and that adds up.
Looks like he is going to get by Avery.
Don Avery looks like he is committed to running the top line. Of course, the 2, or should I say the 23, is on fresher tires here, I do believe, coming up on these guys. Going to try to unlap himself, possibly.
Yeah, but kudos to Schaffner, Severa, and LeVron, as these guys are all coming up on 130 laps on their tires.
Yeah, I just don't know how they're still running out there. I mean, maybe not worried about, fuel, of course, is a concern, but how are these guys making it on tires? I mean, looking at lap times right now, Chris Severa still running a 16.2. With the amount of laps he's got on these tires, he shouldn't be able to be even capable of that, but luckily, somehow he is.
I think they're dialed right into where they need to be, Bubba.
Of course, where they need to be is in the lead, but it looks like that is not attainable right now. They are just, I guess, the only thing I can think of is just try to save enough gas to make it to the end. Otherwise, I mean, as soon as they go down pit road, they could lose positions to Jose Acosta, Kendall LeVron.
I don't think these guys are pitting.
That must be the gamble they're making here.
I mean, it's a little late in the game to be coming down pit road now. They're waiting on a caution, and they might get one as Powell definitely finding his car is more than a handful.
Yeah, Jose Acosta gets right around him.
Yeah, Powell's got almost 50 laps on his equipment, but thank goodness he was actually able to wrangle that rustler.
Yeah, one thing about Kenny Powell, though, he hasn't really necessarily been running the same strategy he ran on Thursday. Tire saving doesn't seem to be really what his thought was tonight, and I think that's kind of biting him in the rear end a little bit.
And here together, you got the guys that are on the same lap tires there. Schaffner's in fifth, Severa right behind him in sixth. Kendall LeBron just actually got passed by Jose Acosta. And that's going to put Jose up in seventh, as he is on a little mini charge to the front.
You see the 44, though. Abner Acosta catches up to Chris Severa to put him a lap down and soon to be putting Josh Schaffner a lap down.
Ooh, Severa gets a little loose there right there coming off of the turn there as he tried to drive through the corner.
Abner able to make short work of these two drivers. And that leaves, I do believe, only 4 drivers on the lead lap, as we actually are going to have 8 laps to go when Abner crosses the line. This thing has flown right on by, and just like Thursday, no cautions. How about it?
Yet.
Well, I mean, heck, I think we could do one right now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I just want to throw one.
I think the real race essentially is going to be between Josh Schaffner and Chris Severa. Or, will they even make it? I mean, they have gone, I think, longer than I think we projected them to be able to go.
No, I projected them to be able to finish the race. And I think
you got the long odds right there. You're going to get a big payout right there.
Well, I'm telling you, there's only 5 laps to go in this thing at the line. And I don't know what's more phenomenal, the fact that Abner put on a little mini clinic here, or the fact that these guys are going to try to get 145 laps out of a tank of gas.
Yeah, I think both are somewhat equally impressive, I'd say, as we have 5 laps to go. Abner Acosta right now has 5 seconds on Don Avery. And it looks like Ryan Strunk, I mean, him and Kenny Powell were battling all race long, but it looks like Strunk has come up victorious, so it looks like we're going to see, Ryan Strunk maybe claim a top 3. We'll have to wait and see. Still some time that something could change.
Okay. Just a couple of laps to go before this one's in the books.
Definitely has 2 to go now. Abner Acosta just making mincemeat out of this field. I love the new competition. This puts everybody on notice, Big Al. I mean, this puts Chris Severa on notice. This puts Kenny Powell on notice. Any of the top players in this series, these guys are, their ears just perked up, wouldn't you say?
Well, yeah, if you keep talking like that, of course.
Final lap, white flag is out. Abner Acosta going to cross the line as your victor. Excellent race from Abner Acosta, his first start in the ISCA, and he brings home the bacon, able to claim the win. Don Avery in second place. Ryan Strunk finishes in third. Kenny Powell finishes fourth. Josh Schaffner fifth. Chris Severa sixth. Shocked that those guys made it on fuel. Seventh place, Jose Acosta. Eighth place, Kendall LeBron. Ninth, Steven Pereiro. 10th place, Frank Flores.
That's going to put Corey Cook in 11th place. Gabriel Alejandro Cantu is going to be in 12th, and Paul Olsen, I do believe, was a start and park. He is some 250 laps down. So with that, guys, lot to digest, lot to process, but we're going to step away, get one more brief word from our sponsors, and we'll be back with a very interesting post-race show.
At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, like how nice it is to switch and save on your auto policy. But it's even nicer knowing that if this happens, or this happens, or this, or even this, we've seen and covered it. So call 1-800-FARMERS to switch your auto policy, and you could save an average of $470. Get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
getting into this particular business, it was very important for us to make sure that we were putting out the most authentic product. Sugarlands Distilling Company is a fantastic distillery in downtown Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Our goal is to spread across the country. We would love your help in doing that.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with our post-race show. We have our third place finisher, Ryan Strunk, in a 77. Fantastic run for you here tonight. Looked like you had speed the whole run. I know you were kind of battling with Kenny Powell quite a bit there. It looked like you guys had magnets to each other, but then somehow you were able to pull away and get this third place finish. How do you feel after that?
Man, I tell you, it's nice just to put one, like a full race together. The past couple weeks, I feel like I've just been knocking the right front suspension off as a career, so it feels good to bring it home in one piece at least.
Yeah, I know a lot of times we see you out there, you have a really, really great short run. You're able to lead a whole bunch of laps, but then, it kind of falls to where you kind of fall back to the mean and everybody gets back around you. But it looked like you were a little bit of a different driver out there tonight. I mean, you still had, really, really good short run, but you were able to still hold it together a little bit better on the long run and running the top, no less. Was the car handling good for you?
Yeah, I just found that that first run, after doing some testing this week, I knew that the tire fall off was a lot. So like I did a lot of my testing up top, and that first run I seen a lot of people run the bottom. So I was thinking maybe there's something there with the tires. But after that, first run just burning up my right front, the second run I just looked to just save tires as much as possible. Like these guys are so good at just baiting you into running your stuff hard and using your stuff up. So like, 35, 40 laps into the run, they're just going to blow right by you.
Well, definitely glad that you were able to have a good learning experience out there. Man, I mean, excellent work to you. I mean, you still might even caught Don Avery if you maybe had your way, but that did not happen. But still, great third place finish for you. Going to give you a lot of momentum for sure as we head into Texas next week. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, Texas is a real wild card. That turn 1 and 2 is just real funky with how flat it is nowadays. So we'll go in there and see what we can do. Can't wait to see what the playoff picture looks like after this race. So we'll, go in there and do what we can do.
Yeah, that's definitely all you can do. We definitely look forward to seeing what that 77 brings at Texas, man. Well, who can we shout out after your third place finish?
Got a shout out to Grindstone Stump Grinding for giving us the budget to go out to these setup shops. And this week we're running Maconi Setup Shop. So thank you to them for setting up a solid car for us. Thank you to Kathy Maloney at Guaranteed Rate and Manifesto Marketing Group down in Georgia. Got to thank those three main sponsors because like they really just. I didn't expect to have the success that we've had this season in this series, just because with a 3.2K strength of field average, like that's pretty decent. So like, just thank you to them, thank you to you guys in the booth, thank you to the ISCA for putting all this on. Kenny Powell, can't thank you guys enough.
All right, man. Well, great job to you. Look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks for your time.
For sure. Hopefully we'll be chatting again.
100%. Hopefully we make it a tradition. Have Ryan Strunk up here in the top three. You definitely are trending in that direction. Well, that was Ryan Strunk, our third place finisher. Big Al has Don Avery, our second place finisher, waiting here.
Hey, Don Avery, Big Al up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. I got you, Big Al.
Well, man, congratulations to bringing it home in a solid P2, man. You had a very strong showing. Qualified second. Actually came out here, got into a little bit of a scuffle there, I believe, at the end of the first stage. Want to talk us through what happened there?
What did happen at the end of the first stage? I don't even remember. I thought it was pretty uneventful.
You got caught up there with Kendall LeVron a little bit there, right at the end of the stage. It kind of made the stage end prematurely.
Was that me and Kendall that got together? I didn't think so, but if I did, apologies to Kendall and sorry for bringing out the
Oh no, I believe he had got into it with the 24 Pile just a little bit, and you just kind of got caught up in it. But it wasn't your fault. But man, you actually powered through that. They had a strong second stage, and looked like you just did what you had to do in the third stage. What was your strategy going into the third stage?
I was just gonna split it right in half and do the pit stop then. I was a little free off the corners after the first two runs there, so I tightened the car up a little bit and a little too far. So, but that was just running some clean laps in those stints there, so it turned out well for me.
What about the was dirty air an issue at all? And what about your tire wear also?
The tire wear looked great after the first two stints, even though I felt a little loose off the corners, so that's why I tightened it up. Later on that last run, I burned up the right front a little bit. So the dirty air, I don't know. I don't know if that's what held back Strunk there at the end or not, but I ran that top line to get up above him. So.
Did you feel your car handled better running the high line, or were you just equally happy or fast on the bottom as well?
Short beginning of the runs, it felt better on the bottom. I think I moved up to the top. It just felt better running the top later in the run with the tire wear.
Well, good deal. Did you actually get to turn a lot of laps this week? What do you attribute such fast lap times?
I didn't turn a ton of laps this week, not like we do at the mile and a half. I had some rough times in the A Opens this week, but I was just trying to manage my tires and not get in the end into any trouble and be there at the end.
Well, next week we're getting ready to head to Texas, back to that mile and a half. What's going to be your strategy there? You looking at putting in a lot of laps, or are you just going to come out and kind of run what you brung?
Yeah, we've already started testing there. Put almost a couple hundred laps on the day, so we'll continue testing through the weekend. And like Brian was saying, turns 1 and 2 are a little tricky there, so hopefully we don't have too many cautions. We get some long runs and see what the tire wear looks like.
Yeah, it's like tonight, no cautions at all, minus the stage breaks. So if Texas does go long like that, will you dare make a prediction as far as where you think you're going to finish?
No, not at all.
Oh, come on, the people are going to be betting on you. You ain't got nothing for us.
I'll conserve some tires at the beginning of the runs and try to pick my way back up towards the front towards the end of the runs. We'll see what happens.
Well, Roger that. Congratulations again for a very strong showing and a solid second place finish. Hopefully we'll see you on the podium again next week at Texas. But before I let you go, who you shouting out tonight?
Kenny and ISCA, you guys up in the booth, and then Sousa Media, Stint Analyzer, our teammate created Stint Analyzer, and Sousa Media, and the Triad, the guys over at Triad with the practice and the setups and everything.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, Mr. Avery, and don't go party too hard, but hopefully we'll see you next week.
Have a good day, guys.
Alrighty, that was Don Avery, our second place finisher here on the night. Definitely a great performance from him. But I think the man who had the best performance and his first race in the ISCA Saturday Series, Abner Acosta. Man, I mean, you came in here ready to fight and it just had the best overall car, I'd say. It was good on the short run. It was good on the long run, good everywhere. I mean, how you feeling?
Hey, guys. Good evening. Feeling good. I do race a lot of fix, so I kind of just jumped in with the set, which I messed up my quali, and then I even spun in the race early just because it was getting loose on the exits. But I was able to kind of just like feel everybody out, how everybody's being my first race here, how everybody races and things like that. And with the cautions, I was able to fix some damage and get to the end there. Feeling
Yeah.
good.
Get to the end is one way to put it. I think you definitely you put it on everybody out there. You sent a message saying, "Hey, you better watch out for me, Abner Acosta." I mean, I bet your brother somewhat feels a little bit bittersweet about this whole thing, bringing you in here and you come out here and whoop everybody.
Yeah, he wanted me to come in here and race with him, just on his team. So I do have more time, I guess, on iRacing, more experience. So, um, I know he's catching up. He's definitely been getting better. So hopefully I can help him out now that I'll be racing here for a little bit.
Well, we definitely absolutely love to have the new faces and new competition coming out here and winning your first race. I mean, you started fifth, ended up first, led I think probably more laps than anybody out there, and and you
75.
also were able to navigate, through pit road just fine. I mean, you almost had a perfect race despite that, spin you had earlier. What were some of the challenges here? I mean, I know you just got the setup and kind of went for it. I mean, was anything out there a little too challenging? Maybe which line were you running, the top or the bottom?
Well, actually, the first two stints, it was pretty rough getting around people. I was just kind of like getting used to the car and everything, but I wasn't really making a lot of moves on the first stint and the second. And my goal always is to save tires. So I know someone was on the last interview. He didn't know which way to go, but yeah, if you want to save tires here, you want to hug the bottom. If you take anything higher than that, you're just gonna waste your stuff up. But the issue with that is that if you hug the bottom, the outside lane is faster. So if somebody goes by you, you just have to let them go, and 20 laps or 25, you'll get by them. But you have to kind of pick and choose your battles. Obviously, kind of gauge where you're at in regards to track position. So the first two stints, I just stayed there, just kind of figuring everybody out, and just kind of push at the end. And I was able to. I'm assuming I have better tires than everybody, just because I felt like everybody fell off pretty hard. And I think there were two other guys that were going for like some fuel strategy. That didn't work out for them, but yeah, I mean it wasn't easy. It was just pretty much saving tire and just taking care of the car.
Yeah, we also noticed you were running a fifth gear setup. I know most of what we've seen thus far here at Bristol has been fourth and third gear setups. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about that? Was that on purpose, or was that just because the car you were handed was a fifth gear setup?
I think it was a fit. I tried two setups. I'm not gonna say which names there are, but I tried two setups, and this one that I tried, it felt loose, which loose is good because after like 25 laps, you're gonna feel really bad if your car had any tightness on it. So the other set that I tried was a fourth gear set, and it was very tight on entry. So I was like, nope, I'm not gonna go with this. So I guess what I went with is just be really loose at the beginning, and eventually it's gonna even out, help you save tires, and you'll get by, and it worked out.
Well, definitely excellent work to you tonight, man. Great job. We're going to be going to Texas next week. Hopefully, we'll see you there. How you feeling about that track?
I feel pretty good. I like Texas. Again, it's all going to be depending on the open sets that we're able to get. I raced a lot of fixed, so I usually, with the fixed stuff, I can figure out lines, how to save tire and stuff like that, and maybe bring the knowledge over to our team and help them a lot this time. Because I just got told about this race yesterday from my brother. I had already practiced Bristol and fixed, but so I didn't have time to kind of like go with the game plan with them or anything. But yeah, well, I'll make sure we prepare something for next race so we all get good finishes.
All right. Well, definitely great job to you, man. Excellent win. Your first race, and you win the race. I mean, that is just nuts. And at a track like Bristol, no less. I mean, man, we have just colored us impressed, I'd say, for sure, man. Well, who can we give a shout out to after this big win?
Yeah, I want to shout out my brother, Acosta or Jose Acosta, and his team, Pandereta Racing Team, John Deere, and I think I heard someone here say that their teammate is the one that made Stin Analyzer. I use Stin Analyzer, so props to him. If I think it was Don that said that.
Yep.
Yeah. So I test with Stin Analyzer. It's pretty good system. So props to them as well, and props to you guys at that broadcast booth.
All right. Well, thank you. Hopefully, we'll get the chance to talk to you more often, Abner. Excellent work to you, and we'll see you at Texas.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
That was Abner Acosta, our first place finisher and winner of the Sugarland Distilling Company 250. What a race, Big Al. I mean, never expected to see a first-time winner here tonight and on his first race, no less.
Yeah, that guy's definitely got to go practice. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah, if he starts practicing, y'all, these guys are in trouble. I'll tell you what. I mean, he's coming in and he's sending a message to everybody out here. I can't wait to see what it looks like at Texas. I mean, he talked about tire saving being, one of the main strengths that he had here tonight. Well, Texas is a track to where tire saving is going to be mighty important. So can't wait to see what that looks like. But definitely
Yeah.
great job to the 11, Don Avery. Also great job to Ryan Strunk finishing in third place. Got to give a big shout out to Kenny Powell, who was battling hard here tonight. And, got to really shout out Josh Schaffner and Chris Severa for even attempting to make it on gas, and they did. So, I mean, that was just shocking.
And Kendall LeBron. Kendall LeBron was also a part of that trio that actually went some 140 plus laps there on a tank of gas. So yeah, definitely shout out to those guys. Man, it was just a different kind of race tonight. Just watching the different lines and the way the different drivers have been in the cars. And also, congratulations to Abner Acosta, a great addition to the league. I think it's going to definitely allow for some more competitive racing here, to say the least. And thank you for our sponsors, and thanks to you, Brian. Man, it's been an awesome race here this evening. Definitely did not disappoint.
That it didn't, as we went completely green again. Thursday went green. We went green here on Saturday also. I mean, quite an accomplishment. 2 races in a row at Bristol. 500 laps, literally, Big Al, that we went green for both of these races. I mean, that is just absolutely nuts. But I do believe that brings us to the conclusion of tonight's festivities. We appreciate everybody out there tuning in. Big shout out to Farmers Insurance and also Sugarland Distilling Company for coming on board here for the race. And, of course, Farmers actually coming on board for the season. So big shout outs to those guys. And big shout out to Kenny Powell for putting all this together and giving us such a fun job to be able to call all these races. And we'll see you next time, ladies and gentlemen.